Right, hello. This is the branch vlog for 0.2.2.5 to do with the game loop. So you can see I've highlighted the list here, which I've worked on, sorry. I'm a bit ill, so you'll have to bear with me. I'll try not to make it too long. You will see it is a bit longer than the crafting one, so the previous one, and a bit smaller than, well, significantly smaller than the action one that was the one before. Okay, so start with the bugs and then work my way down. There'll be a showcase at the end. There's a timestamp for the showcase at the end, and then after the showcase, I do like a final branches where I scroll up and talk about that. Talk about the next one. Okay, so first one. Let's see. Need to cast protagonist from master enemy on level load. Yes, so this relates to, if I just get it, I have to rejig the windows and tabs for it to look alright when I'm recording. So just give me a sec. Enemy, yes. So what we got? What we got? I need to it was to do with attack because let me explain it to you. Let me take OK mode. That's G by the way. And then Alt and 3 will do unlit lighting. Right, let me explain it. Let me get an enemy in a character, so you've got like a functional example. Oh my god, I rejigged the windows and I can't find anything. Right, let's get this guy in. Chuck him in. Right, imagine imagine that's you on the right. Imagine that's the enemy on the left. Then the bug is to do with casting yourself to the enemy or the master blueprint, for example, which this is related to. The problem being that I didn't want to do some sort of just, search the whole place and just mass cast it to me. I wanted to do something a bit more sophisticated. If we go to on component hit, we can see here when the enemy, so this one, attacks you. So when the enemy attacks you, the other actor, so this is the enemy blueprint, so the other actor is you cast to John BP, which is a protagonist blueprint. If it's valid, then set that as the protagonist, and that's it. Done, done. Now from now on, this this instance of the enemy blueprint now has a functional a, a reference variable, variable to reference of to you. And then you can do things like this where you inflict damage and stress and infection. The problem was that if it never hit you, you were never cast because this never happened. So when you would do things that you needed to, I believe it was to do with counting the enemies you've killed, um, it couldn't cast that because essentially you kill an enemy, the purple classes, so like these. I don't have a class. I'm not going to change it, but you see what I mean. Those purple, the like the class, but that's damage class. You kill an enemy, that's like a enemy killed class. The enemy killed class goes to the quests, which relates to the missions, which is this branch. This is really long for a first bug one, but it's important. Yes, so uh, you need to cast to the protagonist so the protagonist can get that killed enemy class. But if you're never cast, the enemy's never cast to the protagonist, then the killed enemy class never happens, and then it never says, oh, you've just killed someone, update the quest thing. Oh, you've killed someone else, update the quest thing. Instead, it'll say something like either nothing will happen, or you'll get a non-error if I didn't put an is valid like catch there. So let's just double check. Let's just double check. I believe, need to be certain. I believe I did this. I was a bit ill during it, so I don't know if I changed my mind. Aha, yeah. Here we go. So now, guess how I get it to cast bullets. So you shoot that gun, that fires a bullet. The bullet has a collision. If it hits you, then if this is the enemy, by the way, this is the enemy. So it hits the enemy, destroys the bullet, then updates the health bar. The health bar gets updated with these variables, so like weapon damage and weapon active ammo type. So whether it's kinetic, whether it's a service pistol, things like that. And then it just does something where there's like you'll see what I mean when I shoot the gun. It's got a light to it. I might need to do like a lit mode and it'll be really dark, but you'll see the bullet fire. So then that's just to do with making the light trail off, and like the bullet casing is different to the bullet. If you see here, um, the bullet casing, the spotlight, and the bullet are all separate elements. That should really be behind it, but it doesn't look quite right. Or maybe it shouldn't be behind actually. Maybe the blast is from the front. I need to look that up. But when you hit the master enemy blueprint, so when the bullet hits an actor, the other actor cast it to master enemy blueprint, and after you've cast it to master enemy blueprint, feed it the protagonist variable. The protagonist variable it feeds comes from the blueprint variable, and the blueprint variable gets the protagonist itself at begin play. Maybe I could do get player character on the enemies, but this works. It works and it's nice. It's nice and pretty. So that's that. I'm gonna cough now. That was the longest intro ever. Right, I can speed up now. That one was a big one. Naming convention of Enums inconsistent. This is to do with Enum quests. So let me just find it. Where are you? Enum. It is to do with areas. I think. Oh, it's several. It's several enums are inconsistent. So this will relate. This will be here somewhere as well. Um, but yeah, I've done enums for key areas, so like the bridge, cafeteria, engineering. There's guard posts, there's guard rooms, there's hallway upper, lower, and normal. There's like medical bays, laboratories. There's bedrooms, there's dorms. So and there's like R&D, there's scientific R&D, there's labs, so things like that. So you see, they were kind of like more generalized areas. So I've done that. I also did this. I don't even know if I'll use this, and it was insane. I was halfway through and I was like, I can't stop now. P is prologue, A1, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. You will see there is an overlap with some. For example, uh, not protagonist, prologue hallway is there, and Act 1 hallway is there. That's because there's an overlap between several of these areas between the acts. A bit really on the nose way of explaining it, but not really like the correct way of explaining it is think Silent Hill. When it transitions to that different, like almost like the hell world, it's the same place, isn't it? But it's different, and that's what essentially what I'm doing with that. So I needed to differentiate between it. So eventually I will use levels. So you'll get enemies, characters will have quests, for example, but maybe only in like the Act 1 variant of this room. Things like that. Right, let me blast through this. I'm doing terrible for time. I'm really sorry. Completed and failed quest needs to show quest detail. Yes, right. Quest, not widget quests, normal quests. Scroll out a bit. It was to do with quest manager. Oh, I thought I found it then, but it's not that. It's not that. This. Oh my god. I tell you, like this learned from a tutorial like a year and a half ago, and is it this one? Is it this one? No, it's not this one. I think it's update. I will find it. I will find it. Oh, where is it? It's like that. Let me right click, find all in this blueprint. Get. And this one, is it this one? No, maybe. I might not have. Oh, it's not in there. It's not there. Sorry, it's not there. It's in the widget. Now you know why. Now you know why it was difficult. This. Right. So in the current quest, when the quest state is if it's completed or failed, it was hidden, and that meant. If I just quickly show you the quest. So I complete this. You see this here you've got there. That would then go into failed, right? Let me do that silly quest. Here we go. Completed. See, it shows you it, doesn't it? That was blank. And I thought, is it not feeding the variable? Is something weird going on? That error just relates to me doing something funny. It's a for each. I think I need to just kill it with a break. But I was thinking it must be something wrong with like the quest manager or something. No, it was the widget hiding it. So I set it to non-hit testable. The reason why it's non-hit testable is because I don't want you to then click use or quit and then delete it from like the completed or the finished quests. This way it looks identical but it's not interactable. Right, that's that one. Quests keep getting wiped. Yes. Oh my god, I hate structs. Like, structs really cool if you're trying to maybe like pass something through or build or like make a struct to then feed into something else. But to do things like storing quests, ah, nightmare. Currently, like there's a master quest. Well, previously there was a master quest, and you see on the right here, this would have been a quest info struct, and that would have been a quest info struct, and then these sub goals would come from that struct, and yeah, all great, yeah. And then you create like a child of this master quest, just like this object-oriented programming, just like the enemies, just like the NPCs, just like the items. You create a child of it, and then you dump that information on within the blueprint in that struct shape, in that struct format for the blueprint to manipulate and pass around. The issue being, if you change it, if you add an extra variable into a struct, I've said this before, you add an extra variable into a struct, let's say you're like, oh crap, I missed one, I need an integer, I need an extra integer for, I don't know, ammo count. So you put that in, it might be perfectly fine. It might wipe every single instance where you've used that struct for an example. Uh, and it's done it so much that I just resent it. So I migrated it. It was a bit of a proof of concept, but I migrated it to class defaults, data assets. So I will talk about this further down, but data assets, that's what that is. And then you will see as there's more data assets, so essentially I'm stripping structs away from the quest. There are some structs floating around in the quest, for like completed quests and things. That might get transformed at some point. Okay. Need to remove OneDrive dupes. Yes. Hopefully you don't see anything you shouldn't. No, it's silly. Can I just right click it and get rid of it? Must. Oh, because it's not an unpin, is it? It's not pinned. Um, I've moved this to my 990. That one there. This one. Yeah, but then I originally had it on my D drive, and my D drive was synced up to my OneDrive, so my OneDrive was creating a copy as well as my GitHub when I commit. I If I'm working on multiple devices, there's a chance it creates twins. So you get that, and then you get like that plus underscore whatever the device name is, whether it's this PC or that device. If there's a lock there, it doesn't overwrite it. It instead creates a copy. Doesn't look like a copy in the game. We talked about this as a bug in the previous thing, but it does weird inconsistencies. So like if you're trying to do a reference like get self. So let's say you've got a widget and you're trying to say it's a widget slot and you're going get self. Because you need to reference yourself, you need to reference a specific slot, this blueprint, this widget, on variables and information. If you have clones, you will not know you'll not know on Unreal Editor. You will know inside Windows Explorer. I guarantee if you're having some weird error where it says it can't, self is no longer valid, where self was valid, and realistically self should always be valid if it's looking for like a self variable. Um, you know what I mean? Like if you create a function that works on a widget and it's looking for self, that widget, when you plug in self in that widget, it will always be valid because it's itself. If it's not valid, I guarantee it's a duplication issue with an identically named thing, and you need to delete the old one. But the issue being, the old one might have extra stuff if you've worked on a separate device. So let's say you've added an extra function in this duplicate one. Don't just go by date because you might have added the function in and then you've gone done extra stuff. So you need to check before you just wipe it. Maybe do it one by one, and that's what I was doing. So that was a mess about. Right, quests not moving to finish. This was to do with the quest manager. Right click, close all tabs. This one. It was to. It was being finished, but the substance was being completed. The goals were being completed. So collect X, and you've collected X. You've done that, but that is not getting passed through to flag a completed state. And you want to know what it is? You want to know what it is? These are the wrong way around, and these are the wrong way around, and these were the wrong way around. When it's completed, you want to complete the sub goal. When it's not completed, you want to add it to the struct to complete it later. Same for that one. Same for that one. It was back to front. When the quest was completed, add it to things to be completed later. When it was not completed, complete it. Which meant it only completed quests if there was one of itself. Like hunt enemies, but it was just hunt one enemy, a singular. If it was hunt two enemies, it would get to one, it would count the first one, and it would never count anymore. If it was hunt 57 enemies, it would count up to 56 and never count the 57th, so it would never complete. Has to be my fault. No way you can just be fixed with like a flip flop swapping it over. Um, like what are the chances of that? So that's that. On death and new game items did not return. I went on a right tangent. I was like, oh, is it the game instance? Is it here? Is it like I didn't originally have items in to clear it, so I was like, I'll put in items to clear it. No, that's not it. Is it the John blueprint? No, 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 no. It's been a right brain melter branch. This one probably not ideal, Emil. It was the pickup actor. Pickup actor is this. Items are selected from the item to add in the pickup master. So the item, so you're not when you pick up the item, you're not picking up an instance of the item necessarily. You're picking up an instance of the pickup actor, which references an instance of the item. Um, so then we can do like pickup logic and stuff like that on this blueprint rather than all in one. Uh, Tutorial very long time ago followed that process. Luckily, I know enough to transform it. So you'll see it's got some where is it? Where is it? It was to do with this. You know, a couple of branches ago, I made it um, persistent. Where is it? It's here. It is persistent levels make items, weld items persistent, specifically weld items. Well, let me highlight it again so I can do my tutorial stuff properly. My timestamping properly. Well, it was loading it, deloading it. I have a variable here saying you've already collected it, true, false. It's false at the moment. I collect that. Let's say I collect that tomato sauce bowl. I die, I come back. That's still flagged as collected here. Because that's flagged as collected, it goes, okay, well, if it's already collected, if the IDs match, if the GUIDs match, well, I think it looks like a GUID, let's just call it ID. If the unique ID of the item matches and it's already collected, destroy it. So things were just not coming back on death because it was like, but you've already collected it, and it feeds it to the game instance. You see, it's coming from the game instance. It's not coming from the blueprint where it would just reset naturally using like implicit like standard functionality. Um, it's coming from the game instance, which persists beyond a blue, like persists beyond levels. So yeah, I had to do that. I just put like if it's new game instance new game, true, then set up the text, false, load it, and then deload the ones that I've already collected. Bit filthy, really shouldn't have a deload, should be combined, but it's version 1 and it served its purpose. Version 2 is a refactoring. Hunt quests only kill on one. Yes, we've talked about this. This relates to hunt. No, that's not that hunt. That was back to front. Tried all sorts. Tried all sorts. Thought I was going mad. That was back to front. Find quests not flagging. Again, yes. This. That was the problem. But there was occasions. There was occasions on like 1-2% of the time where it would work. Pre this, prefixing the bug. So weird. Don't didn't investigate. Just want to fix the bug rather than find an anomaly where it works sometimes bugged out. Um, Shooting chest speeds up enemies. Yeah, one sec. Sorry. Right. Sorry, I had to cough. Right. This just silly, 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 silly. Um, right. Chest hit. Chest hit speed. 20. Default movement speed. Um, 0. It's not 0. It's not 0. That's not right. I've got it here. I've half tidied it up. Ah, default movement speed is a variable that is fed the movement speed after the change. Why did I do it that way? Here you go. Here we go. Here we go. I'll show you. Movement speed. Yeah, it's here somewhere. I feed it. I feed it like. But basically, if you look to the left, that was 40. That's normal. Chest hit, that was 70. You might think, why Nick? I 2x'd the scale of everything, didn't I? So I had to 2x the scale of movement, and I guess I just 3x'd it. So you shoot the enemy in the chest and they actually speed up. It is quite terrifying. So I'll fix that now. I just knocked it from 70 to 40 on the chest hit. Talk quest, not feeding quest, into quest start. Um, Investigated, thought, is it this? Is it like this untalked to NPC used to be like right there? And like, is it there? Is it not getting to it? Is it not getting to the fireworks factory? Like it functionally is there, but it never gets to it. So then I stuck that there just to be extra sure. Doesn't cause any damage. Um, but no, it wasn't that. Then I realized that the characters, the instances of the, if you look on top right, the instances in the NPC blueprint, this one, Barry one, have their own elements. So on talk to, like it's like an override. So do everything, do all that, and then do the parent. Um, well, undo the parent sometimes. I could actually, just do that. Yeah, but yeah, well, it's fine. It's fine because it already does the show message and the talk to parent. Um, but yeah, I did it. I cut it off. I cut it off like that for testing. And yeah, silly me. Mission 1 feature. Yes, I will show it in the showcase. You might want to skip to it. I know it's a long video, but it's been a detailed one. But we'll pass the bugs now. Right, I've created some quests. So the quest list, action demo, ignore that one. But find smarter souls, hunt zombies, and talk to Barry. So you get a quest to start with. That then you talk to Barry. He'll give you another quest depending on what you say. You then need to collect some items and then go into the hallway and then complete the quest. Yeah, it'll make sense on the thing. This was just a refactoring, well, a migration actually. I just migrated it from OneDrive, from D drive to the E drive. Added level named item struct, but it's no longer we don't no longer use the struct. We use the primary, well, we use data assets. So we set a primary data asset and then I've just done a default one. So that's what I'm talking about. I've added in, you remember that Enum? I've added that in there. Not used at the moment. Believe it does functionally work, but I've just not used it. Expand and refined E areas to include all areas. Yeah, I showed you that, didn't I? The one where it was like quarters and bridge. Originally it only had like 4. Create enum for all levels. Yeah, I've showed you that. Migrate quests from structs to data assets. Right. Structs. So quest info becomes quest data asset. Look on the right. You'll see it's the same. And then like goal info becomes goal data asset, and goals are inside quests. The key difference being where you'd have normally seen a struct, you now see an object reference to the data assets for some of it. For this stuff, for like goals and quests, full conversion. There are some structs, as you've seen, for like goals, quests still to complete, things like that. Right, I'm back again. So that one, they feed like so. So we'll get an instance. Let's get an instance of the quest. So we've got hunt zombos. Sub goals, that used to be another struct, is now a data asset of the goal primary data asset, an instance of that. So then we crack that open, and then we've got goals, and inside goals we've got location, goal location default, which itself was used to be struct, now is its own data asset. So you see, it follows that pattern. It means that I can store all the information I need, whether that's quests, goals, location, hard code it, reuse it. They're never going to get wiped. Um, Documentation added to Enums. Yeah, just playing around with it. Just I had a feeling it would do what I thought it was going to do. I just added in stuff like that. Just examples. So when you hover over the variable, the enum, it tells you. I just wanted to see it actually functionally work. Create Barry dialog. Yes. So I created a dialog thing a while ago. Poorly named. Rechange it to being called master, and then Barry is a child of this. The key difference being dialog as a parent override. I've deactivated the parent version of the dialog, so you just take off the executable. And then things like that. Don't worry about the morning, afternoon, and night. That's just an old placeholder. Just go through the middle. So you'll see. Like, hey John, how are you? And you can reply with hello, and you pass it through. And then you got two options, and then depending on your option, you say something different. Depends on your and then you'll close it. You'll see. I don't want to explain it now because you'll see it in the showcase. And then you get a couple more options, and then more different types of discussion, different types of dialogue, and then you get to the point where you get to this bit. He gives you a quest, and then you get to this bit, and he gives you a crafting recipe, and these are the recipes he gives you, and it closes it, and then I just got it to open up the crafting menu widget. So that's that, and that just sits on Barry. Barry, I need to do a v2 of it to make it more dynamic and clean, but on begin play, I just get it to add the Barry one, feed it the NPC because I need to use that variable, and then that becomes the master dialog blueprint. It's like an overwrite. It's an overwrite because the parent has its own. I know. Normally you cast it or something, wouldn't you? But with this one, I did a component. I need to look at it, but it works. Migrate goals from location to structs. Yes, you saw me. I just create copies, create like data asset versions. Documentation, remove redundant. Yes, I had a folder called transition interaction, and it had an item called BP transition, and when you went to the door it would teleport you to the other door. That was the original, like, true V1 of the door blueprint. Everything was just one big level, and the doors would have a instance of this BP transition blueprint, and it would teleport you to like level 2, level 3. uh, there we go. I think that's control and 2. Yeah, if you control and press a number, it'll set a bookmark. So then you can do like that, and then you can just press 1 or 2, or like whatever your number is to get back to the bookmark. Right. Added communicator variable. Yes, in here, communicator is text. Already feeds it through to the widgets, but I've got it to feed it into the blueprint, to the dialogue component blueprint on begin play, specific to the NPCs. So you just no longer need to do like, oh, Barry said this. One sec, I'll show you. You don't need to do like, oh, Barry said this. Oh, Barry said this. Oh, Barry said this. You can just do that. Or I guess you could just put hard code it if you wanted. You could hard code the dialogue and everything. This is very much like a testing it out. Like I said, the master is deselected, so it doesn't run by default. Added functionality to set communicator. Yeah, yeah, you've just showed you that there. Create Barry dialog headshot. Yes. We want. Where do I hide you? Assets, UI, talking, Barry. There you go. Just that. Just I copied my character's one, just tweaked it a bit to make it look a bit like Barry. So that's that one. Added detail to Barry's. Yes, you've seen me add detail. Dynamic talking heads. Yes. You remember I said that I get that NPC variable fed in to the component. Well, on the component, we have an interaction widget. See the heads, head left, head right. Both variables. Head right now feeds from that NPC, that update NPC thing, feeds that in, and yeah, and then just set out as texture. It's like a texture. It works. It works. It looks like it shouldn't work. It does work. Don't actually need that anymore because the the NPC comes from the protagonist comes from somewhere else. I realized it's not needed. Um, I could do it at like a different level of, I guess you'd say like abstraction, um, or a different level of inheritance. I do it at a different stage, higher up. So yeah, so that's how I get it to do the heads. You'll see soon enough. Oh, this was cool. Able to use keyboard. Yo, you'll like this one. I full on just did it. I was like, I think it's gonna work, and it just did. I didn't do anything fancy. Here you go. So I created enhanced input things that all sit um, here. So you see you've got one, fourth, well, first, second, third, fourth. They all feed into the action mapping. I get it to work on key released, so it doesn't blast through all the options. So you press one and you hold it too long, it might go like 1 1 1 1 1 and go through all the communication. If you press one, firstly, get all the child options of this widget, because you see these options here. You saw where there was like two things we could say and one thing we could say. If it's two options would come up. If it's one option would come up. So I can't just go, just give me the options container and use that as a variable. No, I have to get the options container and then say get the children. So top first one. So option one, option two, option three, option four. Stats 0, remember, index. Um, so 0 is 1. 0 is first, I should say. 1 is second. Get that, cast it as the interaction option widget, then set the option index to whatever it is. So first, if we press 1 or numpad 1, that will come back as the first option. That first option feeds into the selective option in the widget, and then the selected option feeds into here and it plays the animation, and you will see very, very, very shortly what it does. It essentially allows you to not just use the mouse, but also use the numpad and the classic keyboard numbers to do it, to communicate. I hate it when games have numbers against the communication, like dialogue options, but they don't freaking put the ability to use the keys, or they only use half the keyboard and not the numpad keys. So I've created that. Um, Create function to group add item recipes. Yes. Let's go to inventory, not in the assets, in the blueprints, not there. This, that. Here you go. Add recipe thing. On the quest stuff, I now we know why it takes so long telling you this stuff, because it's all related. Um, communication, Barry, here, add crafting recipe, inventory. That is this. I make an array rather than feeding it 1, 2, 3, creating 3 instances and just doing add recipe, add recipe, add recipe. I do a for loop, add unique recipes from that list, so those 3 recipes, and then at the end generate the list. And now I need to generate the list because that's something I added into it's almost like a regenerate the list, I should say, but you'll see. Added something cool to like the crafting widget. You'll see. I just made it look a bit snazzier. You know, just make it a bit more like aliensy, a bit more Deus Exy, a bit more sci-fi. And I'll do a showcase straight after this one. Added padding to the top of recipe, just housekeeping. Like recipe was just a bit too close to descriptions, so I just like did that. So I did 10. So you could do 20, you got 10. There you go. Right, showcase, good stuff. Here we go. Right. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? Oh, that's fine. I just knocked it off, didn't I? You know, I said that thing works at a higher level, where it gets the NPC. This is the higher level. It feeds it. I feed it in through this. Uh, well, I did do it at one point, but I'm not now. But there's an even higher level then where I've done it. Right, play. Okay, so. Oh, there shouldn't be a zombie there. That was me showing you stuff, wasn't it? Right, play. Started at the wrong side. I meant to start here, but that's fine. So if I press Q, this is a quest one, isn't it? So we're showing quest stuff. If I press Q, current quest. Right, so loaded with the current quest. Talk to Barry. It's a main quest. It does add health, experience points and level stuff, but only minor. So we talk to Barry. There we go. So I can now press numpad 1. Did you manage to find my pistol? No, not as yet. Try your dresser. I'm pressing keyboard normal one. Going here. Okay, cool. So space doesn't work. There's a bug at the moment. So I right click it. Add it all in. Okay, cool. We could have actually just said yes, we found it as well. But yeah, you still need to find it. Yes, we've found it. Great, listen, some of the crew seem infected. They're attacking people, and Jock saw them get back up after Pete shot them in the chest at least 3 times. Who did they shoot? Some engineering guys. They went down Hangar Bay. So what now? I should really change that from so what now. Also, here's the way to craft kinetic bullets. So we've already got the quest. You see it's appeared on the left, and then we do got it. And now, you remember I said it opens up the crafting menu. Okay, cool. Right, so what we got? The quest is what's the quest? Hunt 3 of them, specifically the medical zombies. You can't just do all zombies. It is specific as well. Okay, so we've got the gun. The reload thing doesn't work properly when you feed in item ammo. That's a bug. But we've got an empty mag, we've got some bullets, kinetic ones, and we've got some materials. We need 13 rounds to create full mag. I haven't done the recipe for a partial mag yet. You need something a bit snazzier because it's going to need to reference how many bullets you've got in the mag so far to then craft the extra, like redundancy. So you've got 9 bullets in your mag. Okay, cool. You need to get 4 more rounds to craft it from a partial or something like that. So yeah, let's top and bottom. Right, so we need 4 more bullets. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is an issue where the weight decrements into negative. That is also a bug. Okay, cool. So we craft that. You'll see 13 bullets and that turn into this. Reload it. It doesn't actually work properly. It's doing something weird, but we can use it. So it's a functional placeholder. Right, tab. Right, tab isn't working, which is annoying because it was working last night. Tab zooms in and shows you how many zombies you've got left to kill. But we can keep the quest thing open and it'll show you if tab doesn't want to play ball. Right, So you remember I said he killed 3 zombies? 2 of them are actually dead, one of them's come back to life. I really want to focus on um, swelled storytelling as well as just, me telling you bluntly. Right, there's one down. I'm annoyed that quest tab hasn't come through. I'll show you what it looks like after this. These are all medical zombies. You see they slow down and shoot me in the chest. If we shoot them in the legs, they might stop completely. But I'm not a very good shot, clearly. I need to work on the projectile stuff. Right. 2. Last one. Boom. Dead. Oh, you are kidding me. Oh, it is complete. It is complete. It's just a bug thing. I didn't factor into account someone would keep the quest thing open while. So I've got a non-error here because the thing, this quest was in current, wasn't it? And now it's just disappeared because it's being put into completed quests as it's meant to. But I then need to make it dereference it. So that's what that error was about. But the quest did complete. If we look now, nothing current, nothing in failed. We completed that. There is another quest we can do, which there we go. Now it chooses to show its face. Right, let's go into here. But the tab doesn't work because I've messed it up. So the last one, side quest, collect some tomato sauce. It's in the completed quests now. There you go. So we've got a talk quest, we've got a hunt quest, we've got a find quest, and that's it. Like I said, this is the same thing where we've completed that quest, and it's like, well, where is it then? Because it's moved to a separate widget. Well, this is good playtest. It's like a QA test for me to make sure, I found 2 new bugs, which is good. Next is, let me just sort this out. Next is we are working on back into Act 1. So I'm going to put my writing to a visual output of what Act 1 looks like. The Act 1 variants of the levels. Obviously, there's more levels in Act 1 than there is in the prologue. There's variants of the prologue levels. I need to create new items. I need to create new backgrounds, new Blender objects, new textures. This will all be done over time. Like you see here, I've got like further in like June, July to wrap up and create all the levels for Act 2 and Act 3. But this and Act 1, but this is embarking on it. This is me like mapping it out, getting the blueprint ready. Blueprint in the sense of mapping stuff out, not unreal blueprints. Yeah, like a sketch, like a pre-version 1. That's what I'm working on now. This was February, now we bumped up to January just because I've started it early. And then yeah, there's this item assets. Well, sorry, not item assets. Sorry, I'm doing 2 things at once. So I want to get the lighting fixed. You will see the lighting looks like that at the moment. The lighting is not quite right. 3D lighting works fine on like 2D things, but since I turned it to like a 3D sort of diorama-y sort of like the levels like a diorama, lighting's never been quite right. So after I've embarked on it, I'm gonna jump straight into the lighting. Then we're gonna work on Act 1 level creation, so I guess the V1s, the door variants, so if there's like blood on the doors, creating widgets for like computer interaction, pager, radio, map, photo, document. I do have some initial stuff, but it's just not ready yet. So you see like I've got book and it looks like that, and then you can go to like next page, and I've kind of half functionally set it up. So on read, I don't even know what that does. Huh, don't even know. I think that's half me, half a tutorial. But you know what I mean? Like I've got the stuff there, like the map. I just want to flesh them out and like have the computer one actually feel like a proper computer, a bit like a Deus Ex, like Deus Ex one. New items. There's a bunch of items in here. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I'm starting work in about 10 minutes, so I'm just trying to wrap up nicely. Um, you see here, it's a terrible background. There's a bunch of items here which you're not actually seeing yet, and I'm not actually using yet. Oh my god, my eyeballs! Let me get you the thumbnail version. Background, yes. See, all these, and I like guns and stuff. Like impact shotgun. I don't think I'll do the guns yet, because I'll need to redraw all the sprites for the player, and that is a task that's bigger than you think it is, I bet. Um, Things like this, just adding extra stuff in, just like finally creating information, because these are alright as thumbnails, but when I do no background or when it's an item, the item has no background and no text, so it's just invisible. So just doing stuff like that. AI Sense version 2, yeah, at the moment you can potentially get them to come to an area. Like if it's sound, yeah, you shout, they come to the area where the sound is, and then you can sneak away. But with visual, that shouldn't be the same. If you're in visual sight, you should constantly be updating. It's actually going from start point A to point B, okay, and then point A, and then point C, from point B to point C, okay, and then point C to point D. When I want it to actually do like from point A enemy to point B you, and B is constantly changing, not you go to the last place you saw B, okay, and then go to the next last place you saw B. So just a bit more slicker, a bit more sophisticated. Sketch remaining level meshes. So we're talking Act 2, Act 3, and create Act 2, Act 3. I really like. It's a task. I'm not blind. It's a task, and I'm really like. I just want to get something down for all the levels mapped out. Get get the skeleton of it to make me feel at ease. It's still going to be broad as it's long, but you know what I mean? Rather than front loading, really doing really good work, but going like really slowly through the prologue and the acts, I kind of want to now. I put a lot of effort front loading prologue and creating functionality for the game. I want to almost mass dump Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and then build them together. When I There will be issues where like so there's different variants of the same level. That sort of stuff I will leave um, to like specifically Act 3. But if we're talking like building a static mesh, I can build a static mesh for all three for prologue, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I can build a static mesh if once and reference it. I just need to do slightly different textures, which we can come to when we get to that specific act. So I can build a skeleton and I can just put the paint on it, put the skin and muscle and all on it when we get to that specific act. Right, I'm done now. Thank you for your time. It's been a long one. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you in a few days. Bye bye.